Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Morning, everybody. Cowboy here, and it is Thursday, May the 7th at 8:31 a.m. And here we are taking a look at the charts. We're going to go into Bitcoin, and we're going to see if Bitcoin can stay above 81. Now, of course, anything is possible, but we are going to take a look at what the data says on the charts to see if we can actually make a determination of some kind, or maybe tilt the odds in our favor. It's kind of a good way to look at that, right? Okay, it looks like it will, it looks like it won't. No, we actually have data on the chart that can help to tell us what is going to happen. And I can tell you in the near term, we have Bitcoin right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is the daily chart. Each one of these candlesticks is a day's worth of price action. And you can see that Bitcoin stabbed above a level I had marked out earlier, and that's 81,000, almost 82 actually. So the key level here psychologically was 80,000. Price had to break above there. And as a matter of fact, the real actual structural level was actually 79.5. Then Bitcoin broke above that. And it's something that I predicted. It was something it wasn't something I wanted to trade terribly. I did get into a trade, and then I got out before I lost money. It was price action is a little bit soft on Bitcoin right now, and I think that's part of why I'm not. It's part of why I'm at a point where I don't have confidence that it is going to get up to 90. I mean, it could, it couldn't. We're going to have to map out a couple of scenarios. Once any of these scenarios play out, we're going to have a higher probability idea, right? So it's kind of at a, let's just say we're not getting signal right now as to which way it will go, but I can give a couple of high probability scenarios that would give us signal. Miko asks, did he miss the NASDAQ chart? The answer is no. No, Mick, we started with Bitcoin today. So the thing about Bitcoin at this time is, I'm going to put my coffee down here. Bitcoin's in a vulnerable spot, right? Now, there's a lot of bullishness on the high end, and I don't really think 80,000 needs to be looked at. I think 79.5 needs to be looked at. And right now, locally, there's a key level at 80,500. So these are some local levels that we'll look at as to what price might do. Let's take a look here. This is the daily. We're still on the daily case. That's the weekly. The weekly is still pretty strong, but the daily chart does signal it may need to either pull back or go sideways. So how far, when price goes sideways, there tends to be a pullback, and then price creates a range, right? So I'll draw this out graphically. You see price goes up, and then it might pull back a ways. It might pull back a little bit. And if it pulls back a little bit, a lot of times you tend to see kind of a sideways, even a little bit down, and then a continuation up. That can happen, right? That's kind of what I'm looking at for the current scenario, actually. So with Bitcoin, right now, what I expect is price to pull back a little bit after this big move up, big move being, all the way coming from the 60s. And in particular, this most recent extension right here, from here to here. Right, that's that look, and it's either, I think, going to pull back to here, and then maybe let me get the right tool out here. Maybe something like this, and then up. And it may not take this long. It could happen like really quick. It might even, because this is the daily chart, right? So it might just happen in a few days where it just pulls back a little bit and then heads up. That's a likely scenario, right? However, how it behaves during this time when it goes sideways, if it goes sideways, if it doesn't do something else, if it doesn't break down, then we have to reassess. If it doesn't break upwards really quickly, and we have to reassess. But I think we're going to see this sideways at least for the rest of the week, and then it's going to probably head up after that. That's the most likely scenario right now. But we are getting to a point where even if it does head up, it's going to reach some pretty strong resistance. And that, I think, is going to happen around 88,000, maybe a little bit higher, Might grab some liquidity in this box. And this is basically what we said yesterday. But now the price has slowed down a little bit. I think we have an idea that it's going to go sideways. And as it goes sideways, whatever it does when it's done going sideways is going to be telling us a fair amount about what the probability is for next, right? So if it breaks upward with any conviction, it's like, okay, we have more up to go. If it comes down, okay, our next step would be to look at this level right here, which is 75,000. Now, can it stay above that, right? If it, let me delete this. Sorry, a little crazy there. If it can stay above 75,000, it might actually do the sideways and then up thing, and you might get some chop for a while, and then, we'll just kind of have to assess that as it goes. But the answer for today, as far as how I'm going to look at it and how I'm going to sort of make my determination, is to see how it behaves in this area. And the two sideways patterns I could see is something that would be bullish between maybe 80.5 and 82,000. But I think more likely, or just as likely, is that it pulls down to this 79,000 and then maybe pulls up after that. So we'll see. This is a very difficult time to try and forecast Bitcoin, but that, in my estimation, is the most likely scenario. Something like this might be faster, might be slower, but that pattern in those price levels. So Miko wanted to see the NASDAQ. And by the way, if you're watching and you have a request, you want to see something in the charts, we have time left in the live lab, in the public live lab here. I can chart whatever you guys want, as long as it's not some stupid meme coin. So let's take a look at NASDAQ, which is just like nonstop here. And let's zoom back out a bit, or in, I should say, because this thing is just bullish. And it's what I said on Monday. And I think we're just right now kind of in a similar spot price action wise as Bitcoin. Now, I did call this out yesterday. This is what I called out yesterday during the show, and it appears that I was correct on the higher one, because there's a lot of things that this could have done. It could have gone sideways longer, it could have broken down, but I figured it would either sideways and up, just like we talked about with Bitcoin, or go a little bit deeper and then head up, like we talked about with Bitcoin, right? So this is almost kind of like the same thing that we talked about with Bitcoin. And right now we're seeing it showing a lot of bullishness. So let's go ahead and if you remember this level, I figured it would come down to this level and head up. It dipped a little deeper, but that's fine. So let me take a look at the stack here. Bullish, bullish. Yeah, I think that what we're probably going to see is just sideways and up, guys. Maybe kind of just a quick one of these. That's very likely right now. Just like that. There might be a pullback. It might be like something like this, and then grab a little bit more. But I mean, this thing is so bullish, guys. I would not be surprised to see it just keep making higher lows and highs. It does seem to be forming, like, for example, we're literally seeing higher highs, higher lows all day long, right? But there's a lot of, it's been going so hard that the higher highs, higher lows are going to possibly have a certain look where they diminish a little bit and then they just blow out, right? So losing energy and then maybe another one. So maybe it actually goes a little bit higher or kind of the same, and then it just takes off. So I'm looking at something like that for NASDAQ, right? So if you want levels, obviously you have your high, your all-time high, which was made earlier this morning in the futures market. And to keep it really simple, I'm just kind of looking at the kill box here. It's already hit it. Your levels are really simple. I mean, you have your local low at 28,688. And this is still pretty local, but it's at 28,636. And to take a look at the stack on this, yeah, I mean, to kind of drill down a little bit, if we're going to just not pull back too far, you're expecting probably a grind down towards 28,689 and then to move up. And whatever it does next, you know, eventually it'll make it up, but it might need to play around in this area a little bit more. We'll see. I don't think it will. If it does break further down, you know, you'll probably see it pull one of these, right? This is kind of a local version of what we talked about before, but either way, it's already grabbed liquidity. I mean, technically, it really could just take off from here. Technically, I don't know that it's going to, but really, you could see it not even go down to touch that local low. It just may continue up. Very bullish right now, guys and gals. And I think that's all we have time for on the public live lab. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. By the way, I'm actually doing for Algo Factory members unlimited one-on-one coaching right now. So understand that now the unlimited coaching has some caveats. You have to be making, can't even talk. You have to make progress. You have to show me that you're doing it, right? And I can tell, you know, who's looking at the classes. I can tell who's gone through the classes. Whether I look at the system and it tells me, or just whether when I coach them, the kind of questions they ask, like, you didn't look at this class, did you? You know, so if people are going through the classes, which really doesn't take very long, you know, it might take you a few weeks to get through them if you plow. And if you're building the algo, if you're following directions, if you're making progress, if you're back testing, if I can get real numbers from you and I can tell that you're actually doing the work. Also, it would be for unlimited coaching, I would edit out anything personal and put it up on YouTube. That's the caveat. Now, any member gets to have 2 included one-on-one coaching sessions, right? And of course, you can ask questions in the live lab. You can ask questions while, you know, we do these, I mean, 3 days a week, these live labs. That's for you guys to come in and ask such questions. You know, so we're really offering a lot right now, and that's not going to last. We've had a few members join this week. People are starting to figure out that that AI is going to take a lot of jobs. They're starting to figure it out, and so because they're concerned, they're looking for ways to make money, right? They're looking for ways to make income, and you know, ways they can't be taken away. And AI went to trading first. It's just everything goes to finance first. Finance and let's just say it, illicit videos. You know, it's not, I mean, hey, you know, I don't care if you participate in PORN, but that's where a lot of tech goes first. And I can tell you that AI has hit trading, and trading is still profitable. And it went to trading like 10 years ago, at least. You know, it's the earliest versions of AI went to trading. So, you know, good chance that AA trading is still going to be around when a lot of other stuff is gone. Miko, I appreciate that. Kind words there. Miko says, thanks. His coaching is great. I appreciate that. Helps a lot to refine trading and mindset. Yeah, well, I mean, I should hope so. If I couldn't do that, then what are you paying me for? By the way, we're going to double our prices soon too. So those who get in at the current price get to keep that current price grandfathered in. So if you're going to do this, I'd say now's the time. Don't forget, everybody.
Join us or die.
Just kidding. You're not going to die. We love you. Back next week on Tuesday. And by the way, keep an eye out for the Monday market report. If you want me to send you an email with that report and the video in it, go to the link in the description. There's a free algorithm. And if you sign up for that, you will get emails with the written views and a link to the video. Thanks for watching.